Hello, my buds. This is Miss B on IntellectualRadio.com. And once again, I am inviting you to come into my garden. All right, you know what we do. Let's take those breaths. Give me a big, deep inhale. Yes, and exhale. I need to do it again because anyway, take another deep breath. Yes, and inhale. One more time. Yes, and inhale. Well, for those of you that are expecting to see me on my Facebook Live, unfortunately today that won't happen. Why? Because Ms. B left her phone at home. And I didn't realize it until I was about halfway here. So, in order for you to see me, you will have to go to intellectualradio.com or youtube.com. All right, that's okay. We're going to breathe anyway. Breathe in all that fresh energy and love and peace. Remember, I am peace, I am love, I am joy, and I come from the one that sent me. Now, if you want to call in, the number is 708 223 8953. Now, I don't know how long we're going to be in the garden today because not having my phone and then being on my retreat, I don't know if I told you last week, but I went on my Gold Rush Women's Conference team retreat. And that's every year we go and we gather so that we can gather our energy together, so that we can work on our goal minds, so that we can be ready when it's time for the conference and we can give all the love and support that's needed at the conference. So we get together and we do our checklist and check ourselves, and we get tools to help us become more or better, growing than what we were yesterday. I don't believe I'm going to quote Kanye West, but I heard a song today, and it said that uh, about there's no more, the, nothing is for sure. Today or tomorrow. There's no for sure on today or tomorrow, and that's true. There isn't, but we live our life as we expect it to be. Comes or not, we live it to our fullest. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today, when I talk about the wonders of God, buds, let me tell you, God showed up and showed out for me this weekend. And I'm not even talking about the retreat right now. I'm talking about just getting to the retreat. So here goes my story. We started out, I went to pick up Pam, my sister Pam. I went to pick her up and we got going. And I was determined this time that going to Lake Geneva was not going to be, always end up on these back roads. And I know because I had been before that there was a much easier way to go. And I was determined this time that I was going to do it that way. So we went on 94 and we were doing really good. Everything was going fine. 94, you get into that 41. We got the toll. We did the first toll. Everything was fine. And then I got a phone call. Well, Joe, who's at the school, my dean of students, and she called and she's in this low voice saying, I just got this call. I go, okay, but I can barely hear you. I don't want to talk too loud. I went, okay, what's wrong? I said, I just got this call from ComEd, and they said that they were sending somebody over to cut the lights off in 45 minutes. And I went, what? What do you mean they're going to cut the lights off in 45 minutes? They said that they were coming to cut the lights off in 45 minutes. I said, but I don't, well, okay. Did they give you a number? And she said, yes. Wrote the number down. And we were getting to the last toll. We got to the last toll. I pulled off on the side and I called. and there was this like crackling voice coming on. I couldn't really understand what they were saying. And I'm going, okay, I'm sorry. I cannot understand what you're saying. Yeah, well, somebody's going to be there in 30 minutes and they're going to cut. I said, this is not going to work because I can't understand what you're saying. So, okay, I will call you back. I'm going to another phone. I said, okay. So we sat there and we waited for them to call back. And then they called back and they began to tell me that someone was going to be there in 30 minutes to cut the lights off at the school, and that I needed to pay on that bill, this substantial amount of money in order for them not to cut my lights off. Now, I'm giving, there's I don't call it a disclaimer, but there is something going on with ComEd and I. So that fact was there. The other fact was that I hadn't heard from them in a while. After I've done everything that I'm supposed to do, I haven't heard from them. So I didn't know what was going on. Didn't remember seeing a disconnect notice. So I said, okay, all right. So then I started to get a little curious, and I told Pam, I said, well, call Joe and get our account number. So we got the account number. And when I talked to the guy again, I said, can you verify my account number? He couldn't do that. He said all he had was the last four numbers of the meter that was going to be cut. And I'm going, okay, well, give me those numbers. So he gave me four numbers. So I told Pam, I said, call Joe and ask her if this is, if these are the numbers. So she called. So she went and she looked, and she even took pictures of the meters. They were not the last four numbers. So by this time, I've decided to, I got on the road and got off because I had to get onto Highway 50, Route 50. So I got on the road and went into the gas station and parked so I could try and settle whatever this is going on. So he's on this phone and he's telling me, you have to go and you have to pay for this now. So he said, I asked, how much do I have to pay? He told me, and I went, okay, all right, okay. So I was going to pay. And first mistake I made, I gave him my card number, all the information from my card, so that I could pay on this bill. Well, he comes back and he says, I'm sorry, we can't use the card. I know the money's there. We can't use the card because for a payment like this, we can't use a debit or a credit card or an online payment. You're going to have to go into a payment center. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I'm not at home. I don't know, where a payment center is. And I told him I was in Wisconsin, and whoever this is, they found some place for me to go. It was you ready for this? A Dollar Tree. I said, I didn't know that bill payments. Anyway, I put it in the GPS. We went to this Dollar Tree, and we got inside, and I'm looking around. I don't see any place where you can pay on a bill. And then this young, a lighter expression lady came with this wonderful red hair, and I told her briefly what was going on, and she said, oh no, that's a scam. And mind you, now the guy is still on the phone. He wouldn't get off the phone. So she's hang up, or put him on mute. So I put him on mute, and she said, that's a scam. We've had people come in here before when they've done that. You buy these gift cards, and once they get those gift card numbers, there's nothing you can do. And I'm like, oh, okay, so just hang up. So I hung up. Well, phone rang again. I didn't answer it. What I did was I asked the number for ComEdison so that I would have ComEdison's number. So what I did once I got ComEdison's number, I called ComEd and I said, look at here. I got somebody that's saying they're going to cut my lights off if I don't pay this money. I know that I have paid, received anything, about making any other kinds of payments. And the woman looked it up and she says, oh, no, you're okay. I said, so nobody's calling about my bill? Oh, no, you're okay. You paid that last money and you're fine. I'm like, okay, thank you. that would be okay if I hadn't given them my card number. So now I've got to I called the number on the back of the card first, and they didn't have anything or show anything, but they gave me the number to my bank. I called my bank and I explained the situation, and I told her that I wasn't in town, and she asked me did I want her to, to stop payments on the cards or to, stop the card, kill the card. I said you're going to have to get rid of this card because I can't take that chance. And she asked me, did you have anyone pay anything for $1? I said, $1? I would never use my card for $1. If I didn't have $1, I didn't need to be doing whatever it was that I wasn't supposed to be doing. So that was taken care of because they were already trying to get into my account. So I ended the card. I put the card up and I proceeded on to where I was going. Now, mind you, this could have turned out a lot differently because once I realized and I stopped the card and everything, I was looking for the young woman who had that helped me, and I couldn't find her. And then one of the other ladies says, "Oh, she'll be right back." She came out, and I gave her the biggest hug. I said, "Thank you, dear. Thank you so much." Now she said something that almost got a smack because Pam and I are standing there, and Pam has this glorious white hair, and I had a hat on, so you couldn't tell what my hair was doing. But the lady said, "Well, they really prey on older people," and I'm like, "Okay, how does he know we older people on the telephone?" So, but it's all good. It's all good because God's all good. We got to the destination for the retreat, and the rest of the weekend was just wonderful. I mean, every year I say this is the best retreat, but this year it was a different kind of retreat, and it was the best retreat. Friday, we talked and we got more connected with who we are and what we believe we're going to be about and how we're going to grow. And it was just a coming together because the team doesn't get together a lot in the off year from conference, but we occasionally we do some socializing. But this is more of an inner spiritual retreat. So Saturday morning, Reverend Jackie, it's Reverend Jacqueline Trish Atkins. She is the producer. Well, I'm sorry. Her nonprofit organization, Shoval and More, is the producer of the Gold Rush Women's Conference. Jacqueline Trish Atkins is the reverend that was inspired to work that is dedicated for women finding their better selves through a gold mine, their inner gold mine. And it's also our gold mine and our inner gold mine. And as much as we believe in ourselves and our gold mine, then that'll show for us when we have the conference. Saturday morning, Reverend Jackie told us to bring some workout clothes and our gym shoes. And we did that, and we had mats. We all went up to the space where we were going to be working out at, and there was this young woman there, and she reminded me so much of a good friend of mine. Uh, I knew that with that spirit, I knew that we were going to be in good hands. Well, we were in good hands, but my goodness gracious, that young woman worked us. Now, I'm not one that works out a lot. I should work out more. And after Saturday morning, I believe I'm going to try to do a little bit more because I realized I can do more than I thought I could. But by the time we finished, baby, let me tell you, my dear was feeling it in her legs, her knees, her arms, everywhere. But it's good. It's all good. I made it through. And that's the important thing. I didn't pass out. I made it through. So we worked out. And then we always bring food. We do our own cooking because we stay in like these villas. and we do our own cooking, and it's a communal thing. It's almost like a bunch of girlfriends getting together. When the girlfriends get together, it's always a good time. So Friday, by the time Saturday night came, most everybody was pretty tired from Friday and Saturday morning. So the youngins, as I would call them, the younger of us, they ended up going on off to bed early. So Reverend Jackie and a couple more of us, we sat up and played some bid whist for a while, which was fun. It was on TV was this movie called Loving. I don't know how many of you have seen it, but it's this movie about this couple, this interracial couple in Virginia who marry, and but the state they live in don't recognize interracial marriages. They end up in jail at one point. They have children. They have to leave Virginia. They can't even live in Virginia. So they left Virginia, and ultimately they got in touch. The wife gets in touch with Bobby Kennedy for some help. And the lawyers step in, someone from the ACLU and another attorney step in that Bobby Kennedy had put out there. And they eventually take their case. But it took years for this to be resolved. It took years for the United States to realize that mixed marriages were not a crime and a sin against God. And basically, that's what Virginia was saying, that having children out of a mixed relationship was pretty much a sin against God. I'm not going to say what they call the children, but you know what I'm talking about. And the movie, I'm just going to be upfront about it. The movie, I didn't see it in the theaters. And in a way, I'm glad I didn't see it in the theaters. It was good. It was good information, and they were good. But even when they got the news that it was okay for them to be married, I mean, they knew it was okay for them to be married. But even when they got the news that it was okay and legal, it was like, okay, fine. And at the end of the movie, I think they said that the man, Mr. and his name was Loving, the man, Mr. Loving, he passed on, I think, in 2008. So they also had a picture taken because Life magazine, I don't know how many of you remember Life magazine, but Life magazine came out and they did a story on them. And in that story, the writer and the photographer, the journalist, he was sitting on the floor watching them watch TV. They were watching a comedy, and the husband, he put his head in his wife's lap, as husbands and people that love each other, they do stuff like that. And they were having a moment where they were actually enjoying and laughing at the TV, and he took a little sneak shot of that, and it ended up in the magazine. The man was a bricklayer, so he's at work. He's getting ready to leave work, and he goes to his car, and there's the page from the magazine wrapped around a brick. Now, they never showed any violence happening to them, but when he went home that particular day, he thought folks were following him. It shows a time when things were much uglier in our country. But it also reinforces how things are still ugly in our country. The same kind of attitude and consciousness that denied us from being what would be considered a complete citizen was what was going on back then. And if we aren't watchful and careful, that same kind of consciousness that is trying to show its head again could do some harm to us. I mean, they've already talked about tax back on, and one has to remember that 14th Amendment, it's an amendment. There's always a chance that if we allowed it, and that's the only way it's going to happen is if we allow it, is that the amendment is repealed, because it comes up every so often whether or not it should stay law. It shouldn't even have to be there. So, in some ways, we still are not considered anybody else. But that's okay. We're going to breathe and we're going to let that one go. I'm going to get back to the conference. What I want to do is I want to read you something from Reverend Jackie, which kind of reinforces what I went through before we even got to the conference and what we're going through as a nation. And once again, you know, my heart and prayer goes out to all of the people in the southern part of our country that are being inundated with Mother Nature. But realize where all of this is happening. If people are not taken care of faster right now, we don't have to worry about a second term. You know what I'm talking about. Now, Reverend Jacqueline Trish Adams, she is an ordained minister, and like I said, she is the inspiration for the Gold Rush Women's Conference. And she read this to us during the retreat, and it touched me so much. I asked her if I could read it today. This too shall pass. My past 15 months have been filled with mountaintop and valley low experiences. I have manifested some extraordinary dreams, and yet I have struggled mightily in the process. Untold joy as I sat on the highest point of the proverbial mountain. I have cried a river of tears as I climbed up the steep side of that mountain, covered with sharp rocks. I have written an 80-page book, and yet, during that same time, there were many a day that I felt incapacitated and could not write a word. As I reflect on this period, it becomes clear that God blessed me with a substantially increased realization of two concepts: understanding and non-attachment. With this increase, my consciousness has expanded and I am moved somewhat closer to heaven. Understanding, as one of my spiritual powers, assisted me to really grasp that God stands under all situations. Earlier, this deeper realization led me to truly know that my ability to move through any situation is based on keeping my focus on God, not on the facts of the situation. I was regularly reminded of the lesson taught in the biblical story when Peter took his eyes off Jesus and looked at the facts of his experience. Rough waters that could be his downfall depending on his response. What has been impressed on my soul during those past 15 months is that it is never the situation or experience that causes us joy or that causes us pain. It is our reaction to it. As we respond with understanding, we are able to move through each and every situation while walking around heaven all day. Knowing that God is our foundation and all is well, we begin to live the affirmation, God is. But the key for me to live as understanding was for me to put on the whole armor of non-attachment. We get in trouble when we forget that everything has come to bless us, but everything is only an effect. God is the cause. Non-attachment protects us from confusing a mountaintop experience as our heaven or a valley low experience as our hell. Non-attachment, whether it concerns a so-called good situation or a challenge, helps us to remain focused on God. With understanding and non-attachment, We are better able to remember as we experience any and all situations. This too will pass. Now, when she read that, and after the experience that I had gone through just getting to my destination, and not just that experience, but all the wonderful experiences that I have had the last few years, I know that I know that I know that God is in no matter what decisions that I believe I'm making. When I let go and I let God and I have faith, remember I talked about faith last week. When I have faith and I realize there's nothing that God can't handle. Me, that's another story. But I don't break down like I used to. Even when I was going through that situation about the ComEd, I was still pretty calm. And somehow I knew it was going to work out because I haven't come this far to fall. God hasn't brought me this far to fall. So somehow I knew that was going to all work out, and it did. I wasn't in trouble. I think about how we all travel. We all travel these roads, and some of us, the least little thing will get us out of sorts. Oh, what am I going to do? I can't handle it. Oh, my. Oh, somebody got to help me. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Cha, 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 cha. When you know that you come from the one that sent you, everything is handled. God takes care of it all of the time. And I know it takes time to get to that point. I understand that because it took me time to get there. It didn't happen overnight, but thank God it did happen. I mean, look at me. A couple of months ago, I wouldn't have dreamed I would be sitting here talking on in a radio station, talking to you. I just didn't, it wasn't even in my purview. It wasn't even a part of what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But also remember that when I was in college, I did this. I talked on the radio. I had the advantage of being able to play music, which I miss dearly, but I may be able to remedy that soon. I'm working on something. But here I am talking on the radio, talking about you finding your best life. Because if I can find my best life, I can sure talk about you finding yours because I know how I'm getting to mine. So I can always share that with you. And it just lets me know that this journey is a journey that was meant to be. Now, I want you to remember, and this part here is for the ladies only, the Gold Rush Women's Conference. I'm going to be talking about the Gold Rush Women's Conference a lot more because it comes in April, and April will be here before we know it. And I have registration forms that I'm carrying around with me so that when I see you or you see me, expect to get one. This is going to be, and I'm going to say this even before I know it, because each conference is the best conference. Be the best conference. The power of love that goes on at the Gold Rush Women's Conference is it's not unimaginable. But for some women, then they go, wow, I just had no idea. When I told you we worked out on Saturday with this young woman, what I found out before, when actually this was after, I found out, I'm looking at YouTube and looking at some of our testimonials, and you can go to YouTube and look up the Gold Rush Women's Conference, and you will see testimonials, or go to the website, goldrushwomensconference.com. Can't say that 3 times fast. But go and look at the testimonials. There's one by Danielle, and Danielle was the woman that mind and body and spirit. She comes at it from a spiritual realm, and she connects the movements and what you're doing. Reverend Jackie has been using her as her personal trainer for a while now. And she really looks at you and watches how your frame is and if you're doing it correctly. I really liked what she was doing. But let me tell you about Danielle. I found out when I looked at her testimonial, she had been at the conference for the first time last year. And this is 17, right? Okay, so I think it was this year in 17. And she was invited by one of our team members, which I didn't know at the time when she was working us out. And she had a vision. And during that conference, everything was solidified for her. She realized that she could manifest her dreams. And she did. And from all accounts, she has become very successful and is becoming very successful with it. Her abundance is overflowing, but you see it in her spirit because her spirit is overflowing. And she will be at next year's conference, and she will also be one of the people that will be working us out. So I honestly am looking forward to it. So if I told you everything I wanted to tell you about my weekend, I believe I pretty much covered my weekend, but we have someone that also had a weekend that I couldn't attend. But you see, I don't know if you noticed or not, if you even paid any attention. I do not have flowers today. But what I do have sitting in front of me when you go see it on YouTube or IntellectualRadio.com, you will see this lovely piece of art. I'm calling it a piece of art because that's what it looks like. And it is to, remember I told you, our producer, Earl Winfrey, was getting his award, and he got his award, so I can read it. It says, buzzing off in Media Award presented to Earl Winfrey in appreciation for your outstanding dedication to your community. And it comes from the Buzzing Off Awards of 2017. Congratulations, Mr. Winfrey. Good, good. I'm so happy for you. And I'm happy because receive your roses while you're here to enjoy them. And I'm glad that that happened for you and you could enjoy it. Now, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I've got a couple of announcements. And this is Miss B on IntellectualRadio.com. And thank you for being in the garden.
To make a change in your life and your career goals by becoming a licensed. Take a real good look in the mirror. What do you see? Answer that question. Be encouraged to do something about it. Be encouraged to make a change in your life and your career goals by becoming a licensed barber. Do something that you've never done before or something you've always wanted to do, or finish what you've already started. All of these things are possible at McCoy Barber College. The barber industry needs sincere individuals who want to become licensed barbers. If that's you, visit McCoyBarberCollege.net and see how you can change your life by becoming a licensed barber. Or if you prefer speaking with a McCoy advisor, give us a call at 773-221-6700. That's 773-221-6700. McCoy Barber College, where lives change and careers begin.
All right. I'm going to give you a few announcements. You know about my Parker High School reunion dance. That's going to be on the 23rd. I'm not sure how many tickets are left for that. If you're interested, you can still find out about it. You can inbox me. Uh, and as far as the Gold Rush Women's Conference, I think I told you last week we're going to have joining us this year Miss Avery Sunshine. Looking forward to that. It's going to be the Avery Sunshine Experience, and that'll be one of our general sessions. Along with that, we are going to be presenting the Urania last year, and she's going to be with us again this year. But before that, Chauvel and More, which is run by the Reverend Jacqueline Trish Atkins, will be holding a fundraiser for the Gold Rush Women's Conference on November 4th at the Spa Theater, SPAA. It's in, I believe, Park Forest. And that's on November 4th. It is Park Forest, 371 Artists Walk, Park Forest, Illinois. Now, I have tickets for that, so you can inbox me if you need tickets for that. And I've also been told that Diarania has been here, and she has given you samples of who she is here. And I will be working on for her doing that during my show. We need this. We need to, and guys, I want you to know that this fundraiser is not for women only. It is for the men as well. And we need for you to support your women, your ladies, your sisters, your aunts, your mothers. You need to support them. Gift. If you bought their tickets, not just for the fundraiser, but help support them and send them to the conference. That would be the most wonderful present that you could give one of the loved ones, one of the females in your life, and adore. You appreciate them, and you know that they're working real hard to be the best that they can be. It would be a great thing for you to send them to the conference. I guarantee you, for them, when they come back, it'll be a whole different world for you. I've covered the goal. Oh, any tickets or for the conference, you can also inbox me because I have registration forms for the conference. And let me find my promo for the conference. The Gold Rush Women's Conference. There is recognize, realize, and recreate. Recognize that gold mine in you. Realize its potential and recreate anything that has been unlike or not right for your highest good. This is the 3 R's for shaping your gold. If you've never attended, this is your time. And I tell you, we are there to help, guide, and support and love you through the experience. I can honestly say that a woman that has attended the conference and did not feel welcomed and supported, we don't work hard at it. It's just who we are, because this is important to us, because it's not just important for you, it's important for us as well. How can we be the best that we are if we don't give you the best that we are? And that's what we're about at the Gold Rush Women's Conference. It's going to be at the Lyle Isle in Naperville, and that's where it was for the last couple of years before we went somewhere else last year. And last year was nice, and we worked it out, and everything worked well. But there's something about that height, it just seems to be home for us. So we're going back to the Lyle. Now, I have to let you know there are no triples left. There are 24 singles left. We do have some doubles, but we only have a limited amount of singles. There is a payment plan. Now, the payment plan, you have to be paid before. Ooh, let me find my sheet. I have it here. You have to be paid before. You see my pretty yellow folders. I got these folders from this weekend. Plan will continue up until February. So if you think about it, and you have a double, you have, since this is now September, you have the opportunity to break it down into 4 or 5 payments, and then your initial down payment, which is $100. Do this by credit card. You can do it by post-dated check. You can also do it by PayPal, but if you do it by PayPal, it is a different kind of payment situation. They don't give you the same kind of time you get it when you do it through Chauvel and more. You are going to be seeing more notifications on my Facebook page about the Gold Rush Women's Conference, and I will be talking about it. And I'm also going to have Reverend Jackie come on the show, so talk about it and how important it is for her to discover and have women discover their intrinsic value, and how whatever is going on in their lives is just a situation, an appearance. There's nothing that cannot be handled with the love of God. I, Whitney Houston, heard it on the way here. The greatest love of all inside of you. I believe I have covered my announcements for today. And I believe that we're going to get ready to close out and leave the garden today. But I just want you to know that any love is only going to bloom when you look at yourself and you realize that you're the love. Because once you realize that you're the love, then the love just shines all over. But you can only do that when you can look in the mirror and you can say honestly and truthfully, I love you. I love you because I came from the one that sent me. When you understand that the power within you is greater than anything without, you have all the blooms that you need within your garden. This is Miss B on IntellectualRadio.com, and thank you for coming into my garden.
Take a real good look in the mirror. What do you see? If you cannot answer that question, be encouraged to do something about it. Be encouraged to make a change in your life and your career goals by becoming a licensed barber. Do something that you've never done before, or something you've always wanted to do, or finish what you've already started. All of these things are possible at McCoy Barber College. The barber industry needs sincere individuals who want to become licensed barbers. If that's you, visit McCoyBarberCollege.net and see how you can change your life by becoming a licensed barber. Or if you prefer speaking with a McCoy advisor, give us a call at 773-221-6700. That's 773-221-6700. McCoy Barber College, where lives change and careers begin.